45 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Wednesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Wednesday where we now turn the page and focus on the division rival, Houston Texans, coming into Jacksonville Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. I was down in the Jaguar locker room earlier today, down at the Miller Electric Center, went one-on-one with both linebacker Devin Lloyd and defensive back Jarrian Jones. You will hear those conversations in the next 20 minutes or so. Got a lot of thoughts from the Jaguar locker room, a lot of thoughts about the Houston Texans and how big this game is coming up Sunday here at Everbank Stadium. Also, we are now 72 hours away from Florida and Miami. And my question to Gator fans tonight, it sounds funny, but I think it's real. It's a real interesting question because I talked to a lot of my Gator alumni brethren, a lot of my Gator alumni season ticket holder friends. Do you want Florida to win on Saturday? And why do I ask that? Well, if Florida wins on Saturday, that's obviously good news for Billy Napier moving forward. If Florida does not win on Saturday, that continues the thought process that Billy will be out sooner rather than later. Have we gotten to that point with Florida Gator fans? We'll talk about that as well. But certainly Jaguars-Texans is on top of mind. Again, down in the locker room earlier, and I got a lot of thoughts about things that I saw, people that I talked to. Every night on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal? What is the big deal?
No, because it is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
You know, I was thinking about this earlier this week, and it's becoming more and more prevalent as we get closer to Sunday's game. It became prevalent being down in the locker room today as well. You know, I'm old enough, and most of you are old enough to remember the great rivalry that was the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? You had Steve McNair and Eddie George. You had Javon Curse and those great Titan players, Blaine Bishop, right? Samari Roll. The Jaguars and the Titans, man, that was the rivalry for a long, long time. And we still get up for the Titans here. And they certainly still get up for us when we go to Nashville. But that's not the rivalry anymore. At least it shouldn't be. The Titans have been replaced. And the Titans have been replaced by the Houston Texans. Jaguar fans, Houston needs to be your public enemy number one now. No longer Tennessee. It needs to be Houston. You know, Jeff Fisher once called this place his home field here in Jacksonville. You know who's inherited that? The Houston Texans have inherited that. They've won 9 out of the last 10 meetings here in Jacksonville. Let that sink in for a moment. They've won 7 games in a row. One of those games was in London. So they've won 6 games in a row in Jacksonville and 7 out of the last 10, or 9 out of the last 10. And they've won games in miraculous fashion. Whether it's a fullback returning a kickoff 90 yards for a touchdown, remember that one? Whether it's Azeez Al-Shaair last year doing a blatant, dirty, cheap shot to Trevor Lawrence to knock him out of the game and maybe alter the Jaguar franchise for a time. Houston's got a young quarterback, a young head coach, a young pass rusher, a young all-pro defensive back. Tennessee is no longer the rival. You can take those great Titan moments, those great Jaguar-Titan moments, and you can enjoy them in the memory banks, and you can still get up for Tennessee, and maybe they can be your 1A rival, right? Jaguar Nation, you need to have a newfound respect/disdain for the Houston Texans. Because for the foreseeable future, they will be the team in your way for division championships. Now, they've gotten off to a bad start this year at 0-2. You want to talk about a desperate football team coming in here on Sunday. Only 4 teams since 1990 have made the playoffs after starting 0-3 in the NFL. 4 teams in the last 25 years that started 0-3 made the playoffs. Ironically enough, one of those teams was the Houston Texans in 2018. And then, of course, you have the Azeez Al-Shaair factor. Coming back to Jacksonville on Sunday after the cheap shot, the dirty shot that he put on Trevor Lawrence last year. I talked to a lot of Jaguar players today, and I'll let you hear their comments. Devin Lloyd and Jarrian Jones coming up in the next segment. In fact, remember, Jarrian Jones got ejected from the Jaguar-Texan game last year after that hit. He was the only player on the Jaguars that got ejected. I'll ask Jarrian about his memories from that, his thoughts on Azeez Al-Shaair coming back, where this game is and level of importance. It's gigantic. I can answer that for him. This is a gigantic game. You're at home against a division rival that you cannot beat in your own house, and a division rival that's always going to be between you and accomplishing your ultimate goal. Look, Indianapolis is fool's gold right now. I don't think that's going to last with Daniel Jones. Tennessee is still rebuilding. I like Cam Ward, but that's not going to be the issue this year and probably next year. The issue this year and next year and for the foreseeable future for the Jaguars in the division is going to be the Houston Texans. It's been the issue for the last couple of years as well. You don't put Houston out to pasture if you beat them on Sunday, but you give them significant problems if you beat them on Sunday. Here's the bottom line heading into Sunday at Everbank Stadium. The Houston Texans have owned the Jacksonville Jaguars basically for the majority of their franchise history, dating back to 2002, 2003. 46 meetings between the Texans and the Jaguars. The Texans have won 31 of those 46. The Texans have won 9 out of the last 10 games played here in Jacksonville. They have owned the Jacksonville Jaguars. So don't think of the Tennessee Titans as your biggest rival. Those games were fun. That rivalry was epic for a time. That time has come and gone. Your biggest rival right now, and it's not even close, is the Houston Texans. The losses they've put on you, the dirty cheap shot they put on Trevor Lawrence last year, the fact that they have a young nucleus that's going to be together for a long time, they are what the Tennessee Titans were in the late 90s. They are the fly in the ointment, man. They are the team that you cannot beat. D'Amico Ryans has turned into this generation's Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher had a home field here in Jacksonville. Well, guess what? It appears D'Amico Ryans has a home field here in Jacksonville. Go do something about that on Sunday. Change the narrative. You know, we always talk about the Jaguars are going to Jaguar, right? Well, here's what I want 2025 to be. I want it to be very un-Jaguar-like. And you know what un-Jaguar-like would be? Going out there and busting the Houston Texans in the mouth on Sunday and beating them for only the second time in Jacksonville in the last 11 years. Reclaim your home field. Reclaim your rivalry with the Houston Texans. Go out there and get it done. This game's going to tell us a lot, man. If they beat Houston on Sunday, this could be a fun season. If they lose to Houston on Sunday for the 10th time in the last 11 years here in Jacksonville and fall to 1-2, oh boy. Oh boy. Big game? You're darn right. Rivalry game. The biggest rival you have doesn't reside in Nashville any longer. It resides in Houston, Texas. 641-1010 on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Your thoughts are always welcome. I was down in the Jaguar locker room earlier today. I went one-on-one with both linebacker Devin Lloyd and defensive back Jarrian Jones. Again, Jones got ejected from the Texan game last year. I will ask Jarrian about that. You'll hear his response. Both of those conversations coming up next on a Wednesday night here in Northeast Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark till 10 o'clock right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
What does Johnny O know best? O knows Jacksonville football.
Okay, say, oh my.
Wednesdays from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. Served by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft on 1010XL.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. Hacker here. You know, it's funny. Little Hack's getting ready for a field trip. So if you want to be a parent chaperone, you got to give them your driver's license. They do a couple of things with it. At Little Hack School, an individual took my driver's license, looked at it, and said, "Sir, I believe you've lost some weight." Yeah, I lost over 100 pounds. My driver's license photo is from 2023. I look like a different human being now in 2025. Why? Well, it's Awaken 180 weight loss. They absolutely changed my life. The weight that I've lost, how much better I feel, how much more active I am, the coaching I get from Awaken 180. I tried a lot of weight loss programs. You guys probably know that if you've listened to me over the years. None of them worked until Awaken 180, and it worked wonders. If it's time for you to lose weight like it was for me, go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
Get down to the bank Sunday, September 21st, as your Jaguars face off with division rivals, the Houston Texans. Celebrate Hispanic heritage and witness history as the Jaguars take the field for the first time this season in the legendary Prowler throwback jerseys. Lock in your seats now for a 1 p.m. kick by visiting Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you at Everbank Stadium.
Former Jags middle linebacker Tom McManus brings up grit to the ladies of helmets and heels.
You do it as tough as it is possible to do.
Tommy, Lauren, and Taylor.
Backed by Greenlaw Group. Afternoons 2 to 4 on 1010XL.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is now available at the Fresh Market Spirits and Wine. The Fresh Market Spirits and Wine is a new adult beverage store offering spirits, wine, beer, and accessories at A1A North in Ponte Vedra, a first-of-its-kind destination for thoughtfully curated spirits, wine, and beer as only the Fresh Market can. And now, you can get Brackish Vodka at the Fresh Market. Brackish Vodka, for whatever your sport is. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
For the first time ever, Beard's Diamonds brings you names like Rolex, Cartier, Van Cleef, and Tiffany. It's happening this week, Thursday through Sunday, a 4-day premium estate jewelry event. This is a spectacular buying opportunity. Your chance to own the world's premium brands. Ready to own the Rolex of your dreams? Beard's buyers have scoured the country, handpicking high-quality pre-owned Rolex watches. All the hard-to-find models: Submariners, Datejust, Skydwellers, Yachtmasters. Over 100 pristine Rolex timepieces to choose from at exceptional value prices. Plus, showcases filled with Tiffany rings, Cartier necklaces, Van Cleef pendants, exquisite rare gemstone pieces, the finest estate jewelry in the world at prices you never thought possible. And for this special event, Beards is selling loose diamonds at unheard of prices, from 1 carat to 10 carats. Dazzling rare diamonds marked down to rock bottom. Don't miss this unprecedented event. The finest names, the highest quality, the guaranteed best values. It's this Thursday through Sunday, September 18th through 21st. Come early for the best selection. Beards Diamonds at St. John's Town Center.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the Southeast to offer multi-unit hair grafting and the 45-minute PRP treatments. Grow your hair back. Call now for a free in-person evaluation. 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you're with us on a Wednesday, Hacker After Dark. Earlier today, the Jaguars were down at the Miller Electric Center beginning preparations for Sunday and the Houston Texans. I got to go inside the Jaguar locker room, had a couple of one-on-one conversations. One of those was with defensive back Jarrian Jones. Second year's doing good things out there. Jarrian Jones' kind of introduction to the NFL in large part was the Azeez Al-Shaair situation last year, right? He got ejected from that game defending Trevor Lawrence. I thought it was fitting to talk with Jarrian the week that Azeez Al-Shaair and the Texans return to Jacksonville. Here's my conversation inside the Jaguar locker room earlier today with defensive back Jarrian Jones. All right, Jaguars-Texans this Sunday. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. We got Jaguar defensive back Jarrian Jones with us here. Jarrian, how'd practice go out there today?
Today was a good day of practice. We got after it. You can tell that everybody's really excited to go against the Texans this week.
AFC South battle. It'll be something with the fan base. Obviously looking forward to Houston coming in. How do you not let last week snowball? Is that kind of a message that's been sent? Don't let last week beat you twice?
I just think you keep the main thing, honestly. I just think you come back to work this week. The goal is to get better every day. So I just think you just try to come in and get better every day. Focus on everyone just doing their 111, doing their job, and, just getting better.
Obviously a rival in Houston coming in. What have you seen from C.J. Stroud and the Texans on film so far?
They're a physical team. They coach really well. They do a good job of, what they're coached to do. I think they have he has a good connection with Nico and his other receivers. So it's going to be a good game, a good physical game, and, excited to play him.
You mentioned Nico Collins. What have you seen from him? How hard is he to defend downfield?
Big body receiver, has speed, can track the ball, wide catch radius. Obviously, he has a good quarterback, obviously, so, that mix, you got to be ready to defend a lot of things.
Not that Jaguar fans weren't already a fan of yours, but you kind of endeared yourself to Jaguar fans last year in this game after the Azeez Al-Shaair situation. How much of a talking point is that this week? It's the first time they've obviously been back here since that hit on Trevor.
You try not to dwell on stuff like that. I think when you try to get into personal battles or whatever, I think that's when stuff start to go left. But one thing I would say is we didn't forget, and I'm excited to go out there and do this again with my teammates and actually play the full game.
We don't know Kirk's status for this week, but how cool would it be to see Christian Kirk out there to go one-on-one with him?
Oh, that'd be cool. When I first came to the Jags, we had a lot of battles together. And he won a lot of those battles, and I won the fair share of those. But Kurt, that's my dog. He taught me a lot. He was a great vet to me, and I'd be excited to see him again.
Final question: top 10 for Florida State, man. How fired up are you?
Oh yeah, man. That's what we do, man. Florida State is the best school in America.
Jarrian, appreciate it, man. We'll be watching on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Jarrian Jones with me in the Jaguar locker room earlier today. And that's the vibe I got. Publicly, they're downplaying it. You'll also hear what Devin Lloyd has to say in one moment about the hit last year on Trevor. But Jarrian just said, the one thing I will say is we didn't forget about it. And then he kind of moved on, right? So it's obviously on the minds of the guys that were here. The interesting thing is there's so much newness in that locker room. But it'll be interesting. I mean, I imagine the fan base will welcome Azeez Al-Shaair, accordingly on Sunday. And you don't want to do anything stupid to get like a 15-yard penalty or anything along those lines. And I still can't believe, Trevor mentioned this earlier, was asked about it in his press conference, that Azeez Al-Shaair never even reached out to him. Never said, I'm sorry or my bad or anything. That's pretty amazing. And almost an entire year has gone by and nothing was said along those lines as far as an apology or even just a, hey, man, my bad to Trevor Lawrence. Another guy I talked to in the Jaguar locker room earlier today was linebacker Devin Lloyd. He's played well in the first two games, including an interception last week against Cincinnati. Again, in the Miller Electric Center, the Jaguar locker room earlier today with Jaguar linebacker Devin Lloyd.
Jaguars getting ready for the Houston Texans on Sunday. We got Jaguar linebacker Devin Lloyd with us here on 1010XL. Of course, you'll hear the Jaguars and the Texans right here on your home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Devin, how'd practice go out there today?
It was good. It was good. Everybody was intentional today. We obviously know it's a big week against division rivals, so everybody was locked in, and it was a good day.
6 turnovers for the defense. You guys got 9 last year. You've had 6 in 2 weeks. What's the biggest difference?
I think some of it plays into the scheme. We got a lot of guys that are capable of taking the ball away, so I think everybody's just in the right spot and capitalizing on those opportunities.
Division rival with Houston coming in. Obviously, Houston's had a lot of success here in the past. Can you put your finger on it as to why Houston has had so much success coming into Jacksonville?
We're not really thinking too much about what's happened in the past. Everybody's just looking forward to this opportunity we got this week. And obviously, like we said, we know it's a division rival. And, we're just looking forward to getting the prep right and going out on Sunday and playing our best ball.
What are some of the challenges C.J. Stroud represents on Sunday? What have you seen on film from him?
Yeah, just accuracy. He can put the ball anywhere he wants. And he has the capability to extend plays. They do some good things in the run game. So, just overall, we know the threat that CJ is, and we got to be on point.
Obviously, get into the division now, back at home. This is a big opportunity for you guys. You guys, and Liam Cohen's been talking about that this week. Talk about the opportunity you guys have to get back on the winning track.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity. Obviously, we want to stay on the positive side of our win-loss ratio, and I think we got a great opponent coming in our home territory. So it's going to take a great week of prep. We had a good day today, and we're just looking forward to playing our best ball.
Final question, and this is a big talking point with the fans, as you can imagine, after what Azeez Al-Shaair did last year. A lot of guys were not here last year. You were obviously here last year. Has that come up at all, or like you said, are you just moving on, not thinking about that at all?
I think it's in the back of everybody's mind. Obviously, we know that was the last time that we played Houston, and that was the last time they were on our home field. So I think that's in the back of our minds. Everybody around the league knows. So, that's something that's there, obviously, but at the same time, we're not focusing directly on that. It's a new team, like you said, on both sides. So we got to be ready to play our best ball.
Congrats on the interception last week. We'll be watching.
All right, thank you.
There you go, Devin Lloyd, Jaguar linebacker with us here on Hacker After Dark. And then there's 2 guys, right, that were both here last year, will both play impactful roles this week against Houston. Again, they didn't make a big deal out of it publicly, but they both said, yeah, of course, we remember that. So, whatever motivating factor you need, I don't think you need much of a motivating factor against a division rival like Houston, who, again, I think is clearly your biggest rival at this point. But that dirty hit, that dirty cheap shot, if that gets the Jaguars even a little bit more fired up than they were beforehand, hey, more power to it. And you want to go shut the Texans up? You want to go shut Azeez Al-Shaair up? Go put a loss on them. Put them down to 0-3, where, again, only 4 teams in the NFL dating back to 1990 have made the playoffs after starting 0-3. It's a big Sunday in the AFC South, too. You got the Texans and the Jaguars here. You got the Colts and the Titans up in Nashville. Indianapolis is looking at this like, hey, If Houston beats Jacksonville and we beat a winless Titan team, the Colts could be 2 games up already in the division after 3 weeks. So Indianapolis is looking at this as a golden opportunity. I think every Jaguar and Texan fan, for that matter, you need to be pulling for Tennessee. But we're going to get a lot of clarity, at least early season clarity, in the AFC South with these 2 matchups coming up on Sunday. Speaking of that, my buddy Jordan Dajani of CBSSports.com. He's based up in Nashville. Jordan covers the league as a whole, but he certainly focuses on the AFC South for CBSSports.com. Let's talk Jaguars. Let's talk about the early season struggles of Houston, and we'll briefly look at that other game, Indianapolis and Tennessee. Jordan Dajani, CBSSports.com, joins me next to preview Week 3 of the National Football League right here on Hacker After Dark.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Our son Eric's a Division I collegiate baseball pitcher who is having shoulder pain. We took him to Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and are confident that he's now on the road to recovery. This is Beth Anderson, and we love the care Eric receives at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Sports fans, this is David Garrard here. And if you're suffering from orthopedic soreness, make an appointment at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where everyone is treated like a pro.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
You've got a circle of friends, right? Well, how about a circle of beer? All your favorites like Bud Light, Bud Heavy, Mick Ultra, or Natty Light. It's all there in the cold case at Circle K. Probably one right around the corner right now calling your name. Slide on in to a Circle K.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, thanks for coming over so quick.
Sure thing, pal. What's the big...
Whoa! See, I told you there was a smell.
Yeah, it smells like...
Exactly, or a dead one more like it.
You need some fresh air in here.
Well, this is the problem, Jason. I've kept everything sealed up tight all summer long so I don't lose all my nice cool air. Now all the dog smells and cooking smells and home gymnasium man cave smells are all building up and I can barely...
Dude, where are the Bueller sunglasses I gave you?
Oh, I don't know. They must be in my other...
Put on my emergency pair.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing can install an air purification add-on to your existing air conditioner. Clean the air of dust and pollen and funky smells while you cool.
So I can keep all the cool air I saved up?
And your place won't smell like a dead...
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Come by Lifetime Enclosures this Thursday from noon to 2 and see the XL Primetime Show live. Register to win tickets to the AEW Wrestling Dynamite title Tuesday live at Daly's Place October 7th. Enjoy the savings at Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring.
When you need plumbing, septic, or air conditioning service, trust matters. That's why more homeowners in Jacksonville choose Duck Duck Rooter, the area's most trusted service company. We're licensed, insured, and the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida. From small plumbing repairs to major renovations, septic tank pump outs, drain field installations, and full air conditioning service, we do it all. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
1010XL is your home for Florida Gators football. Protected by the law firm of Farah and Farah, Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville, and Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. Follow every Gators game on 1010XL.
I know you love sports, so why not take that passion and make a difference in your community as a volunteer coach with the YMCA? Whether it's soccer, basketball, volleyball, or flag football, the Y is always looking for positive role models to help kids grow in both skills and character. Even if you've got no coaching experience, that's fine. We'll provide the training. Step up, give back, and be the coach that makes a difference. To volunteer, visit your local Y or fcymca.org.
If you're tired of weekend projects turning into weekend disasters, you're not alone. Building a fence isn't as easy as it looks. And Let's face it, your neighbor still hasn't fixed his lopsided masterpiece. But Superior Fence and Rail makes it easy. Highly trained professionals, top quality materials, and a fence you'll love for years to come. Skip the stress and call the pros today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Texans, Sunday at 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. Jacksonville 1-1. Houston comes in at 0-2. Both teams awfully desperate for a win. And you got the other two teams in the AFC South, the undefeated Colts and the winless Titans, going at it in Nashville. Should be a very interesting week in the division. Let's talk about all of it with Jordan Dajani of CBSSports.com. Jordan's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Jordan, hope you're doing well, man. How are you?
Hey, Ryan, what's going on, man? I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me back on the show.
Yeah, it's a busy week in the AFC South, so we certainly appreciate you taking time. All right, you and I haven't spoke since training camp. 2 weeks in for the Jaguars. Quite frankly, probably a disappointing 1-1, the way that game in Cincinnati went down. But just overall, your thoughts 2 weeks in on what you've seen from Jacksonville.
Yeah, week one, to be honest with you, was kind of a throwaway for me. The Carolina Panthers didn't pose much of a threat. I did want Trevor Lawrence to look a bit more crisp than he did, but was more excited to watch week two against the Cincinnati Bengals, who are a borderline playoff team. I was impressed with how the defensive front performed against Joe Burrow. I thought that the first two drives of the game looked pretty good until that interception came in the end zone. Brian Thomas Jr., we can talk about that in a second. But I walked away from that game overall saying, you know what? Liam Cohen may have the pieces necessary on offense here with Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter sprinkled in. De'Ami Brown made a couple of plays. I think Travis Etienne's running the ball extremely well. Tootin, the rookie out of Virginia Tech, I'm intrigued by his speed. Trevor Lawrence made some throws, missed some throws. I think that getting on the same page in the passing game is going to be important moving forward. But I walked away from that game saying, you know what? There's reasons to be optimistic about this Jaguars offense.
I'm happy to hear you say that because I certainly agree. And that brings us to Brian Thomas Jr. Jordan, that's a head scratcher, man. It's been a big topic down here this week, as you can imagine. I mean, on some of the instances on Sunday, he looked like he was making business decisions to maybe avoid contact. I don't really know how else to say it. I mean, what was your takeaway from BTJ's performance on Sunday?
Yeah, it's super frustrating. I mean, anytime you see a player make business decisions, as you put it, you wonder about their motivation or their effort. I understand he was probably dealing with some kind of injury, but that's frustrating because we saw, one of those business decisions led to an interception. He had a crucial drop near the end zone as well. We know that Brian Thomas Jr., is a star in this league. What he did in his rookie season shows that he can be a perennial threat on the outside in any offense. So it's really frustrating in week two to be having this kind of conversation about one of the players who you believe can heighten your ceiling as a contender or as a team trying to be a contender. But again, it's all about how this Jaguars team moves forward. I think that this test against the Houston Texans in week three is really going to give us a look at what this Jaguars team is capable of in 2025.
Jordan Dajani of CBSSports.com. Travis Hunter played over 80 snaps on Sunday. I thought complete bologna sausage, Jordan. That's how I'll describe it. That's the BS I can use on my show. A bologna sausage pass interference call that kept Cincinnati in the game. But having said that, your overall thoughts on Hunter's performance on Sunday?
Yeah, certainly controversial. And, I understand if I was the head coach, if I was Liam Cohen, I definitely want Travis Hunter out there on trying to defend wide receivers on what could be a game-winning drive for the Bengals. So I understand why he was playing more snaps. But, part of me wonders, the more defensive snaps he plays, how much does that take away what he can impact the game offensively? I wonder about his fatigue level. I wonder about how much he can really do this. We haven't seen a two-way player in the NFL in quite some time. So he hasn't been someone who's looked like a favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year or Defensive Rookie of the Year. So I know that Jacksonville had an injury in the secondary with Jarrian Jones on Sunday, who I don't think played very well either. So if Travis Hunter is someone who can give you an upgrade in the cornerback room, I would definitely understand why you want to put him out there. But I'm just going to continue to wonder about the kind of impact he can have on the game if he's playing on both sides of the ball.
Jordan, you look at the Houston Texans who come in here on Sunday, and I honestly was kind of hoping they were going to win Monday night, because now you want to talk about desperation. The Texans at 0-2, if they were to go to 0-3, only 4 teams in the NFL since 1990 have made the playoffs after starting 0-3. Ironically enough, Houston was one of those teams back in 2018. But when I see the Texans, and you tell me, it's kind of what I thought, man. Their defense is good, really good. The offense is borderline terrible right now, and the offensive line can't block for C.J. Stroud.
I think you can make an argument that the Texans have been the most disappointing team through 2 weeks in the AFC South. I truly think you can make that argument. They had a really low-scoring, tough game against the Rams, but against the Buccaneers, you brought up the Texans defense. I think when you look at them on paper, they look absolutely loaded at all 3 levels, but I don't think they play like one of the best units in the NFL consistently. I think the Texans defense really dominated the middle part of the game, but when it came down to that last drive where you have to make one stop with the backing of your home fans at home in front of a national audience, you're unable to do it. Baker Mayfield goes 80 yards right down your face and leads a game-winning drive on the road. I don't think that this Texans defense has really shown up in spots where fans want them to, if that makes sense. But offensively, you're exactly right. I think that there's something off with C.J. Stroud. He's missing throws highs, missing throws lows. He's not on the same page with his wide receivers in the passing game. And then, of course, that offensive line. I think they've allowed 60 sacks since the start of last season. That ranks 4th most in the NFL in that span. They definitely got worse with trading Laramie Tunsil away to Washington as well. So something is off with this Houston team. I think they've been disappointing on both sides of the ball.
Couple of more for Jordan Dajani of CBSSports.com. Jordan, a lot of subplots in this game on Sunday. The return of Azeez Al-Shaair after the hit on Trevor Lawrence a year ago. Houston has actually won 7 straight times here in Jacksonville, and 10 of the last 11 trips they've made to Jacksonville. What do you think between the Jaguars and the Texans on Sunday?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that the Texans swept the season series last year. I think they've won 12 out of the last 14. As you brought up, they've won 7 straight in Jacksonville as well. Yet, Houston, they're underdogs. It's actually the Jaguars that are favored at most sports books. And to be honest with you, I can understand why. I'm going to go back to my main takeaway from week 2, being that I think that Jacksonville has the pieces necessary on offense. Now, they have to get back on the same page. You don't like seeing that disagreement in a very public fashion between Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence. But if that passing game can get on the same page, if Travis Etienne can continue to run like he's been running, and this Texans team continue to struggle with consistency, I understand why Jacksonville's favored in this matchup. At this point, I'm actually going to take the Jaguars to win this game.
That's half of the AFC South story this Sunday. The other half is up there in your neck of the woods in Nashville, Indianapolis, and the Titans. Is Daniel Jones just pointing his middle finger to the rest of the NFL? All the bashing that guy endured during the offseason, and he has the Colts 2-0 and in first place in the division right now.
Yeah, you got to love it. At the same time, the Colts are incredibly lucky to be 2-0 off of that bogus leverage call against the Denver Broncos, which gave them a second chance at that field goal. But that doesn't take away from what Daniel Jones has been able to accomplish this season. I think the Colts are the first team in NFL history to score on each of their first 10 offensive drives of the season. As you probably know, they haven't punted yet. They go for it on 4th down when they're near midfield. When it comes to Daniel Jones, it's pretty simple. He's not playing at an MVP level, but he's doing the things that Anthony Richardson was unable to do. He's getting the ball out quickly when it's supposed to come out quickly. He's hitting open wide receivers. He's making some plays with his legs. And all of a sudden, that opens up the run game for Jonathan Taylor, who's been one of the best running backs in the NFL up to this point. Tyler Warren, who's done a tremendous job as that rookie tight end. I think he's probably leading all tight ends in receiving yards at this point. So that's taken a lot of pressure off this Colts offensive line, off of this Colts defense, off of Shane Steichen. Daniel Jones is just playing the quarterback position the way it's supposed to be played in the flow of the offense. And right now, with all the turmoil going on in the AFC South, they really do look like the best team up to this point. And they're facing off against the Tennessee Titans team, which looks a little bit better compared to what they were in 2024. But at the same time, that's a team with a lot of question marks as well.
You know, speaking of that Titans team, I got a lot of buddies up there in the Nashville media. And look, Brian Callahan's, the reality is he's 3-16 in 19 games. I know there's a lot of questions about him already. People seem to like Cam Ward early on. He just doesn't have a whole lot of help up there. What has been your biggest takeaways from 2 games for the Titans?
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway, I hate to speculate on another man's job, but it just doesn't seem like Brian Callahan is long for Nashville. That's been my biggest takeaway. I think that his coaching decisions and play calling directly hurt his own team in week 1 versus the Denver Broncos. And what was a weird turn of events, the Titans actually looked like the better team in Denver in that season opener, yet they didn't score a single touchdown. Cam Ward didn't make one pass attempt in the red zone. They won the turnover battle, but they lost the game. In week 2 against the Los Angeles Rams, you had a lead at halftime. You looked good up until the third quarter, and then everything kind of fell apart. So my biggest takeaway is that I think Brian Callahan's really struggled when it comes to being a developer of talent, when it comes to being an offensive play caller, when it comes to being a head coach in this league. The offensive line, I think, has been a major storyline as well. This was supposed to be arguably the most upgraded unit for Tennessee entering 2025, but it's been really bad through the first 2 weeks. And I understand they faced off against 2 aggressive defenses with the Broncos and the Rams. Still, I think it's fair to expect more. One more thing I will say is that I've been very impressed with Cam Ward. The stats are not there, but he's providing consistency at the quarterback position that Tennessee just straight up did not have with Will Levis. I think Cam Ward is poised. I think he's wise beyond his years. As you mentioned, he doesn't exactly have a lot of help around him, but I think there's reason to be optimistic about what he can be as a future leader of your franchise.
Jordan, final question. Again, Jordan Dajani of CBSSports.com. Patrick Mahomes turns 30 years old today, so happy birthday to him. How much trouble are the 0-2 Chiefs in right now?
I will say they are 0-2, which is shocking. I think the last time Kansas City started 0-2, they missed the playoffs. But at the same time, you faced a good Chargers team at a neutral site. Then you faced the reigning Super Bowl champion Eagles without 2 of your weapons with Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. It's not the biggest shock in the world that the Chiefs are 0-2. And I'm never going to say that Patrick Mahomes, who is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen, is in trouble just because Kansas City lost those first 2 games. Maybe they're not going to win the number 1 seed in the AFC, but we've seen this Chiefs team make deep postseason runs before with late season surges. So as long as they end up getting Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy back, I think the Chiefs are going to be more than capable of being a contender when it's all said and done this year.
It's a busy weekend coming up in the AFC South. Houston at Jacksonville, Indianapolis at Tennessee. Jordan, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville what you have on CBSSports.com as week 3 of the NFL season approaches.
Yeah, we'll be coming out with a lot of different picks columns and different ways you can bet games over at CBSSports.com. Give my name a Google search. Jordan, last name Dajani, Dajani. As always, Ryan, thanks for having me on the show.
He's one of our favorites, Jordan Dajani of CBSSports.com. Jordan, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. We'll talk again soon, pal.
Absolutely, man. Thanks again.
There you go, Jordan Dajani of CBSSports.com. Appreciate him chiming in tonight. Again, big week in the AFC South. Houston at Jacksonville, and Indianapolis at Tennessee. Let's talk to my good buddy Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowler for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You hear him every day on primetime. And 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Texans go final on Sunday, Leon will be with me along with the coach Gerald Ingram for the 5th quarter. We should get underway about 6 o'clock on Sunday evening. Let's talk to Leon about the Texans, about Brian Thomas Jr., about moving past Cincinnati, and all points in between. Leon Searcy joins me next right here on Hacker After Dark.
This year's playoff road rides through the 904. Last season's AFC South champs take their first shot at Trevor and the playoff-hungry team in teal. It's back at the bank for a big one against a division rival, Jaguars-Texans, Sunday at 1 on the home of the Jaguars, 1010 XL.
Cowboy. For the first time ever, Beards Diamonds brings you names like Rolex, Cartier, Van Cleef, and Tiffany. And Hick and Here. It's happening this week, Thursday through Sunday, a 4-day premium estate jewelry event. Have you heard about it? Spectacular buying opportunity. Ready to own the Rolex of your dreams? Beards buyers have scoured the country, handpicking high-quality pre-owned Rolex watches. All the hard-to-find models. Submariners, Datejust, Sky Dwellers, Yachtmasters. Over 100 pristine Rolex timepieces to choose from. Plus, showcases filled with Tiffany rings, Cartier necklaces, Van Cleef pendants, exquisite rare gemstone pieces. It's the finest estate jewelry in the world. And for this special event, Beards is selling loose diamonds at unheard of prices. 1 all the way to 10 carats. Dazzling rare diamonds marked down to rock bottom. So many amazing prices of jewelry all in one place. Killer prices. Don't miss this unprecedented event. The finest names Thursday through Sunday. Beards Diamonds, your local jeweler for more than 4 decades at the St. John's Town Center.
If you've been in a big truck accident, you need a lawyer that specializes in big trucks. A lawyer who knows all the federal traffic rules that can affect your case.
And who can navigate the complex web of laws dealing with the trucking company, the leasing company, the shipper, and all the other details that can complicate your case.
At Farah and Farah, we've seen it all, and we're ready to go the long haul to fight for you. Jacksonville.
Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish. And he's listening to the Nimnicht Outdoor Show.
With tips and stories.
Presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Every Saturday morning, 7 to 10.
On 1010XL.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by November 6th. Hey, everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I like to only recommend the very best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. Now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for up to 72 months. That's 6 years of interest-free payments with Pella on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJax.com or just visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows for quality you can trust and savings you can't miss. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Find out what new golf equipment could help your game.
Well, I'm just a humble golf pro. Could I help you?
Get great golf tips and talk from the experts on the Edwin Watts Golf Hour.
Got to figure out why I'm still shaking the ball.
Saturday morning at 10 on 1010XL.
Hey, it's Brent with Arcosa Crushed Concrete. If you've got concrete or asphalt rubble on your site, let me buy it from you, and I will recycle it into construction material for your future projects. Arcosa Crushed Concrete. Get paid for what you don't need.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Texans, Sunday at 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Texans go final. Myself, the coach Gerald Ingram, and the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy will have the fifth quarter for you. The Jaguars looking to stop an awful streak against Houston, a streak that has seen the Texans win 7 straight times here in Jacksonville, and the Texans have won 10 of their last 11 meetings here against the Jaguars. Former Pro Bowl offensive tackle Leon Searcy, you hear him every day on Prime Time. We get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Leon, how we doing, man?
I'm doing better, bro.
Yeah, appreciate you joining me. I know you were under the weather a little bit in the last couple of days. What about that streak, Leon? 7 in a row for the Texans, 10 of the last 11 here in Jacksonville. That has got to come to an end on Sunday.
Well, listen, bro, if you're any kind of competitor, that's outright embarrassing. That a team could come into your house and win 7 straight times. I don't know how they live with themselves. I mean, quite frankly, because I couldn't deal with it. Knowing that a team can come in your house year after year after year and just beat you down. So, I mean, if this team doesn't take this game personal, I don't know what game you should take personal.
And, of course, all the Azeez Al-Shaair stuff as well, which we'll get to in a moment. Leon, we haven't spoke since the Cincinnati game. Look, it's been a couple of days, and the loss is still bothering the fan base. Certainly a missed opportunity. And a lot of questions came out of that game, Leon. Brian Thomas Jr. Certainly did some things that weren't very characteristic of him. You had the interaction between Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence that people nationally tried to make a big deal out of. What were your biggest takeaways from the loss in Cincinnati?
Well, I mean, the loss was unfortunate because I think for the most part, I mean, we started off the game pretty good. We executed very well on the offensive side of the ball and defensive side of the ball. We got pressure. We got turnovers. We converted on third downs. We ran the ball effectively. Trevor was protected. And then there was a turning point where we didn't do things so well. You know, illegal procedures, guys not getting lined up on time, pressures, breakdowns in coverages. And, I mean, listen, you had the game plan going into Cincinnati on what you needed to do to beat them. And for the most part, I would say 2 quarters and a half, you were executing flawlessly. I had never seen this Jaguar teams in a very, very long time move the ball as effectively as they were moving the ball with the run and the pass and the mixture. And then it all just went to hell. Whatever penalties, turnovers, illegal procedures, illegal shifts, all that kind of, you can't have those type of things. Those are mental errors. Those are mental breaks. Those are the type of things that you work on during walkthrough before you get to the game on Sundays. You go over and over again. And the problem is when you get a little tired, when you get a little fatigued, you do things on your own. You got to stay according to the script. I don't care how tired, I don't care how fatigued you are. You've got to stay according to the script. And this team just, it just malfunctioned. And they got to understand the magnitude of the moment. When I say the magnitude of the moment, I'm talking about making that catch on 4th and 4, protecting the quarterback when you're tired, when we only got a little time, all those type of things, like not getting beat deep on man coverage and getting the pass. And by the way, that wasn't a pass interference by Travis Hunter. It was not. But you got to understand when you're away on the road, when it's a 50-50 ball, 50-50 call, more than likely that home team is going to get that call. And as far as Brian Thomas goes, listen, I mean, a lot. Some of the stuff that he did was egregious. It really was. And he's got to check himself because his teammates have seen the film, they watched the film, and they saw what he did. So now what are you going to do about it? I think peer pressure is a lot more profound than coach's pressure. So, I mean, how he looks in front of his teammates is going to matter to him, so he's got to come out and ball out. And as far as Trevor and Liam Cohen goes, that's not a big deal. Listen, I waved off Tom Coughlin many a times when he talked junk to me, because he ain't on the field playing, and whatever I did as a mistake, I'll make it up for it.
The Pro Bowler Leon Searcy with us here on Hacker After Dark. Back to the Brian Thomas Jr. situation. Look, you played 11 years in the league. You're obviously the guy to ask. I mean, how do you address that? Have teammates come up to BTJ this week and talk to him? I mean, what is kind of the dynamic in that locker room?
No. The best way to get the confidence and the respect of your teammates after they've seen what you did on film is to go light the Texans' ass up on Sunday. That's it. That's the only way you can get back apologies. Hey fellas, I'm sorry. No, we don't want to hear that. You go light their ass up on Sunday. You go 10 for like 150 and 2 touchdowns, then all is forgiven.
Liam Cohen has talked a lot this offseason and really the first couple of weeks that he wants to see how this team is going to respond to adversity. Well, adversity's at the doorstep with the BTJ stuff, a loss last week like you had against Cincinnati. the fact that this team, I know a lot of guys haven't been here for most of this, but this team has lost 7 in a row at home to Houston. And then you have the Azeez Al-Shaair stuff and the fact now that the Texans are 0-2. They are going to be a desperate football team on Sunday because, Leon, only 4 teams dating back to 1990 have started a year 0-3 and went on to make the playoffs. So there's a lot in play coming up on Sunday afternoon at Everbank Stadium.
Well, I agree with you, Hacker, but the hell with the Texans. We need to concentrate on us. If they feel like they're a desperate team, hell, we're a desperate team. I mean, we got the coach sitting at the top of the division at 2-0. We can't afford to go 2 games behind them. I mean, we're 1-1. We gotta go 1. We gotta go 2-1, and then they can live in the cellar at 0-3 for all I care. I don't give a damn about them being desperate. We're desperate. We let one go last week against the Bengals. We can't let one go here at home against the Texans. If we want to win a division, we got to stay afloat and let the damn Texans sink at the bottom of the abyss.
Again, a new coaching staff for the most part, a lot of new personnel that were not here when Azeez Al-Shaair did what he did to Trevor Lawrence last year. But for the guys that were here, you know, whether it's Anton or Walker Little or Ezra Cleveland, Brenton Strange, you know, ETN, even Trevor himself, you got to keep your emotions in check on Sunday when you see that guy for the first time since last season.
Yeah, I mean, you do. But I mean, the guys, the offensive line is going to say all the right things in the pressers when they ask them about the revenge factor and getting after them and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, we're going to say the right things, but in the corridors, in those team meeting rooms, we're saying we need to get after this guy. I mean, nothing dirty, all within the confines of the field. But if you can get a shot on him, take it. I mean, a legal shot now. I'm not talking about nothing dirty below the waist and knee. No, I'm talking about because of the type of offense that we run. It's a lot of double teams, a lot of down blocks, a lot of trap blocks. If you catch him slipping, take the shot. If you tell him to keep and whisper in his ear every now and then. Tell him to hey man, keep your head on the swivel because I'm coming at you. And frustrate him a little bit. It's all in sport. You're not going to do anything dirty. Although the play that he did to Trevor was very dirty. We can agree with that. But within the confines of the game, if you could take a shot at him, take it and make him feel it. Absolutely make him feel it. I mean, that's what I would do. That's what I would do. I remember Romanowski got me one time when I was with the Steelers in Philadelphia, and I had to wait till I was a Jaguar in a playoff game to get him. But guess what? He got trust me.
Yeah, I mean, look, people remember, and obviously the Jaguars are never going to forget what Shaair did to Trevor last year. Final moments with the Pro Bowler, Leon Searcy. Leon, from the Texans' perspective, again, 0-2, and you look at their offense, man. We don't know the status yet of Christian Kirk. We know Joe Mixon's not going to play. But that offensive line, we talked about it the entire offseason. Their offensive line was bad in 2024. It could be even worse this year. Stroud looks like he's getting some happy feedback there because he's getting hit around so much. I mean, this is a real opportunity for the Jaguar defense, for Trayvon Walker, Hines Allen, and the fellas up front to really affect C.J. Stroud on Sunday.
Bro, if this front four, and I'm going to call the names out. If Hines Allen, Trayvon Walker, Eric Armstead, and Hamilton don't at least get 3 sacks on this offensive line, it's an embarrassment. Especially being here in Jacksonville with all the crowd noise and their ineffective ability to pass protect. They can't run the ball to save their life, trust me. They can't run the ball to save their life. I think they had 47 yards rushing last week when they played, who did they play last week?
Tampa, and 25 of that was on one play.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, you neutralize their run. You put them in situations where they've got to pass the ball. You got to get after this guy. I mean, I don't want to hear about pressures and almost. You got to get home. You got to rattle his chain. You got to get after this guy because he's proven ineffective when he's pressured. Absolutely. And then you got to maintain rush lanes. I mean, you can't have him rolling out to the right or left and making plays. You got to keep him in the pocket, push the middle of the pocket, come on the outside, and get this guy down because. If you render him ineffective, he will turn the ball over. he will get rattled, and you should win the game. I mean, I can't make any more excuses for the front four. If they don't get at least 3 or 4 sacks against this terrible offensive line, then they should be ashamed of themselves.
Leon, it's a big game. The 1-1 Jaguars, the 0-2 Texans. We're going to have a lot of clarity on where this Jaguar team stands after Sunday. They're also, again, trying to end a streak that has seen Houston come in here 7 years in a row and leave with victories. What are we talking about on the 5th quarter Sunday? What do you think happens at 1 o'clock at Everbank Stadium?
I think the Jags get it done. I absolutely think they get it done. I think if we play the way we played last week, without the turnovers and with the silly penalties, which renders us ineffective and puts us in long second and third in long situations, I think we're going to play better at home. I think we're going to execute much more profound this week than we did last week. We're going to learn from our mistakes. And I don't think they're going to be able to stop us, Zach. I think we're going to win. We'll win 27-17.
I would love it, and that would make for a very exciting 5th quarter. And if you send the Texans out of here 0-3, whew, man, there will be some interesting issues going on out there in Houston. Leon Searcy, you hear him every day on Prime Time. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark, and you get him every Sunday on the 5th quarter. And Leon will be with myself and the coach Gerald Ingram 2 hours this Sunday after the Jaguars and the Texans go final. Leon, appreciate you as always, brother. I'll see you Sunday evening.
You got it.
Get the weekend feeling all day Friday.
Best feeling in the world, isn't it?
That's why we give you Pre-Game Friday.
You're going to love this.
Get the news, notes, and inside stuff you need to get ready for game day. Built by Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Julington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Maxed out on credit card, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
Hey, Jacksonville, Rick Ballou here. Small business owners need trucks and vans to keep your business moving? Jacksonville Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram Westside has Ram 1500s to heavy-duty 2500s, ProMasters, and custom uplifts ready to work. Visit them on Commonwealth Avenue or go online to jackswest.com. Jacksonville Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram Westside, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local partner for work-ready vehicles.
Expert Automotive on St. John's Bluff Road has some of the highest Google reviews in Jacks for a reason. Expert Auto never sells greed, only what you need. All makes and models are serviced at Expert Automotive. This month, get an alignment inspection for only $19.99. Expert Auto does major engine and transmission repair and simple maintenance. All services done at Expert Auto by our ASC certified training technicians. Call today, 374-3373, and ask about $50 off any service. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
Julington Creek Pest Control has been serving our community since 1984. Our turf management program is an all-out blitz, granular fertilization, weed and insect control, keeping your lawn championship green all year. Quarterly pest control stops bugs before they ever cross your goal line. Family owned, locally operated, expert technicians, top quality products, no gimmicks, just winning results. Julington Creek Pest Control. Our family serving yours since 1984.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Halftime, Hacker After Dark. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock, as we do every night right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. Towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour, my buddy Justin Barney of Channel 4. We'll talk about the Jaguars' 1-1 start. We'll also talk a little high school football with Justin. Denmark, you and I do the Friday Night Lights here on 1010XL. And look, there are two games coming up this Friday night that will be two of the best games that we'll probably have the entire season in our area. Bowles and Oakleaf. You'll hear that game on 1010XL Friday evening. Denmark and I will actually come on following the conclusion of that game. And then down in St. Johns County, man, Nice and St. Augustine, a battle of unbeatens. Maybe it stirs up some memories of the Tim Tebow Nice team and the Brandon James St. Augustine team from 2+ decades ago. But you might not find a better game in the state than Nice and St. Augustine on Friday night.
No, and then you also forget IMG comes to town.
Yeah,
and they play Mandarin.
Yeah.
So you have three really good games. St. Aug and Nice are both undefeated. Bowles, their only loss barely to St. Aug at the very end. Bowles and Oakleaf, a final score where Oakleaf scored 50 points, and that wasn't good enough. Something you don't usually see. And then Mandarin IMG, nobody's been able to contain and stop Bryson Wright. I wonder if IMG can even contain him and see how they match up against them. Yeah, definitely on the calendar thus far this season, as we're 5 weeks in. On Friday, it'll be this is the best week in high school football.
No, I agree. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, Denmark and I will have Friday Night Lights beginning about 9:30 on Friday evening. Prior to that, I will be on the Channel 4 social media platform and our 1010XL social media platform. Friday Night Lights on 4+. You can check out Justin Barney and myself beginning at 7 o'clock. And I know the Channel 4 game of the week is actually Bowles and Oakleaf. So we'll be reacting and watching that in real time with you there beginning at 7 p.m. We've talked a lot of Jaguars. Before Jacksonville on Sunday, we have a game in Miami, Florida coming up Saturday night. The Gators and the Hurricanes. Unfortunately, let's call it what it is. Some of the luster has been taken away, not from Miami. They held up their end of the bargain. Florida has not held up their end of the bargain, 1-2. And I hate even bringing this up, but I was talking to a couple of my Gator buddies earlier today, alumni, season ticket holders. I mean, these are Florida Gator fans, diehard Florida Gator fans. And they're like, yeah, we're going to watch it, obviously, and there's part of us that hope we win. But there's the other part that says, well, if we win, is that going to give Billy more time? And I thought, oh, no, here we go with this again. And we've had conversations like this before. I remember we had it with Dan Mullen. We had it with Billy last year when he did win, and it probably ended up saving his job in November. I've never understood how you can openly root for your team to lose, right? I guess that's just not in my DNA. Now, if Florida loses, am I going to tell Gator fans to be crushed by it? Well, probably not. Because that continues the conversation of Billy Napier's job security, this, that, and the other. But Denmark, maybe I'm just not wired that way. You're an alum. I mean, you got orange and blue blood pumping through your veins, man. I mean, you got to be rooting for them to win, right? Regardless of what that would mean for Billy if they beat Miami on Saturday.
It came to a point where it's just like, I mean, like, where do you go? I know, like, Florida did this a year ago, but it's just the offense is so pitiful. Napier's the offensive guy. Napier's the guy that calls the plays. Lagway's clearly not anything like he was a year ago. And, yeah, I could see them being like that. The problem is, I mean, Scott Strickland's not going to fire him, I don't see in the next couple of weeks, which is what fans want if they get a blowout Saturday.
I think look, he's not going to get fired on Sunday. I've heard people tell me that. The only conceivable way that I could see that happening is if it's like 52-10. I mean, if it's, behind the woodshed, Hail Caesar for those about to be slaughtered. Look, if it's that, then maybe there might be some movement in Gainesville on Sunday. But I don't see that happening, by the way. I think Florida, it's going to be pretty similar to me to the LSU game last week. I think Florida will be in the game. They just won't do enough in the fourth quarter to win the game. I do think the bye week before Georgia is interesting because, look, if you lose to Miami, you're 1-3. You lose to Texas, you're 1-4. You got to go to Kyle Field. They just beat Notre Dame in South Bend. Well, then you're 1-5. And then you play Mississippi State, and you thought before the year that might be somewhat easy. Well, Mississippi State's 3-0 and has a win over a top 15 Arizona State team. I mean, Denmark, if they're 1-6, he doesn't coach the Georgia game, right?
Probably not, but I just think at that point he'll be one game under 500, and it'll be just like last year. He'll hang around, and Scott Strickland will have confidence in him. And
you think he'll be one game under 500 after Mississippi?
I see a world where they beat Mississippi State. Somehow they rally the troops. They beat Texas because Arch Manning plays awful.
Wow.
I don't know, man. I mean, I really don't care. Like last year that we were going through this in November, I didn't want him to be the head coach. But I'm speaking what I think Scott Strickland is going to do. Matt Hayes said he's not going to get fired this year.
Well, I mean, Matt's certainly in the know.
Exactly.
If he's 1-6, I think he's gone. I can't imagine a world where you would keep him at 1-6 before Georgia. I just can't. And you say, well, what's the point in firing him? Well, you fire him to avoid what happened last year, right? You don't want him to win games in November, I guess, if that's your line of thinking. Not in my DNA, but I know a lot of you are thinking about it. Let's talk Florida. Let's talk Billy Napier's future. Let's talk what's wrong with DJ Lagway. My buddy Will Miles. We read in reaction.com. He's also part of the Gators Breakdown podcast. He joins me next. It's a Wednesday night in Jacksonville, and we're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Will Miles joins me next.
Get straight talk from D-Rock.
So let me get this straight.
Mike Duraco.
And we get his insight every Thursday from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. Opened by Lee and Kate's Glass. Guaranteed greatness since 1926 on 1010XL.
Get down to the bank Sunday, September 21st, as your Jaguars face off with division rivals, the Houston Texans. Celebrate Hispanic heritage and witness history as the Jaguars take the field for the first time this season in the legendary Prowler throwback jerseys. Lock in your seats now for a 1 p.m. kick by visiting Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you at Everbank Stadium.
Hey, we all think we're experts on football, right? Well, it's time to prove it with Prize Picks. Hicken here for Prize Picks. Listen, you and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right, it gets you paid. So what are we experts on? Like the Jaguars. We know what Brian Thomas Jr. is going to do, and Prize Picks makes it fun. It's simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you cash in. Prize Picks also offers injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks doesn't count it as a loss. Prize Picks put their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Download the app today and use code 1010XL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code 1010XL. You get $50 in lineups after you pay your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Get more Gators on the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Friday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL's Gator Bites podcast wherever you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com.
Nothing like a hot shower. Wait, why is the water up to my ankles?
It's the dreaded clogged shower drain, hair, soap scum, and last week's mystery goo.
It's touching my toes!
Don't panic. Call the pros at Duck Duck Rooter. We'll tackle plumbing, septic, and even the nastiest shower clogs. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter. When you're stuck, call the duck.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
Your family can enjoy a special day of fun with games, food, and live music while remembering the sacrifices of our nation's prisoners of war at the National POW MIA Recognition Day, September 20th. Learn more at POWMIAmemorial.org.
Tee off for a cause. Join Junior Achievement of North Florida for the Golf Classic, September 29th at San Jose Country Club. Help support financial literacy for local students. Find out how at janfl.org.
This is Tom Coughlin, and September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Help the J Fund raise awareness to help our neighbors and community members tackling this devastating disease.
Find out how you can be part of the cure for blood cancer at the Light the Night Walk at Vistar Ballpark, November 22nd.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Football season is back, baby. Hicken here, and I know I'm excited to get back to watching some ball over the weekend. But with the fun comes responsibility. Taking care of your skin while outside, extremely important. We know it feels like 100 out there, and that sun is blazing. Make sure you bring the screen while loading up all that tailgate. It's simple. Protect your skin. It's the Sunshine State. To help you protect your skin, Beaches Dermatology is here. I've been going to them for years, and my skin thanks me for it. Book your appointment today at beachesdermatology.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focus, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Gators and the Hurricanes. Saturday night down in South Florida. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. Florida trying to, well, right the wrong of losses to South Florida and to LSU. And there is certainly a lot of questions about the future of Billy Napier, the play of DJ Lagway. Let's talk about all of it with Will Miles, readandreaction.com. He's also a part of the Gators Breakdown podcast, and Will is always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Will, how we doing, man?
I've been better, Ryan. I gotta be honest, man. It's been a rough couple of weeks there down in Gainesville, and it's no fun to cover a team that's struggling the way they are, but cover them we have to. So I guess we could talk about what's going on down there.
You're all about the analytics. You do a great job crunching the numbers and looking at the film. So, first and foremost, what is wrong with DJ Lagway?
It's explosive plays. Like last year, he would hit an explosive about every, 8 snaps. And this year, they're averaging 2.5 explosives per game. the last couple of weeks. And that's why you score 13 points on average against USF and LSU. And, scoring 13 points, you're not going to win a whole lot of games regardless of how good your defense is. So, I mean, Lagway has been okay, but not great until this game against LSU. And then he was just terrible against LSU. A bunch of ill-advised throws. Even some of the ones that fell incomplete were ones that could have been intercepted. And so, he just looks incredibly discombobulated. I'm not sure Napier's doing him a whole lot of favors. There hasn't been a lot of the sort of standard flood routes and things where they're play actioning off of the running game. And some of that's because they've gone away from the running game pretty early in the game, even when they've been successful. So, I think Lagway's going to get a lot of criticism for the LSU loss, and rightly so. But I'm not sure that Napier's done a real good job of putting him in a situation where he can succeed, given some of the limitations that we've seen thus far this year.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of talk about lack of practice time and DJ being rusty, but I mean, we're talking, 5 weeks now that he's been back, 3 games. I mean, at some point, that excuse needs to come to an end. I agree with you. Billy's play calling is horrific at times, but throwing into I'm sure Billy Napier at some point in DJ Lagway's tenure there has probably told him, hey, don't throw into triple coverage. That's probably not a good idea. And when DJ Lagway throws into triple coverage and it gets picked, and then there was the mind-boggling interception with 30 seconds to go in the first half in Baton Rouge that cost the Gators a field goal. I mean, agreed, Billy's not helping out, but DJ's got to be smarter with the ball in some instances too, correct?
Well, I mean, sure, absolutely. I think actually one of the more telling things in that game was how many times did Lagway run and get hit? And if you're Billy Napier, you have to have been telling him all season long that when you get out there and you get the first down, you need to slide. And so, what is the disconnect between what he's being taught and what he's doing out on the field? Or is that what he's being taught? And if he's being taught to go take a hit every time he gets a 3 or 4 yard run, then we can have a different discussion to have. So, I think obviously it's the coach's job to get through to the pupil. The pupil has to take that and execute. But if the pupil is not executing, then you got to make a change. And that's sort of, I think, where Napier finds himself really between a rock and a hard place from the standpoint of this program was set up for when DJ Lagway came in and was awesome, they would be able to take off. And I think that's what a lot of us, myself included, thought was going to happen this year, especially given the way Lagway played last year. And it just has not happened. Lagway has been one of, if not the worst. I won't say the worst because that Calzado's at Kentucky, but he's been one of the worst quarterbacks in the conference. And the crazy part is Garrett Nussmeier didn't play very well the other night. They've got a bunch of quarterbacks on their schedule who are the sort of bottom half of the SEC overall. They're missing guys like Pavia at Vanderbilt and guys like Simpson at Alabama who have actually graded out pretty well. And so this really still is an opportunity where if Lagway can play well, Florida could potentially turn things around. But given what we've seen so far, I don't think Gator fans, and I'm not sure folks like me, have a whole lot of confidence that that's going to happen based on what we've seen over the first couple of weeks this year. And what we've seen with Billy Napier over the past 4 years is that, if it was just Lagway throwing up a stink bomb in this game against LSU, okay, that happens, from time to time, things like that. But it's just something different every week for the Gators, right? There were there was comedy errors against USF that cost them that game. You got the spitting incident. You got, fourth down conversions they probably should have gone for, some clock mismanagement, I would say, at the end, some timeout mismanagement especially. And then you come to this game and none of those problems cropped up, though some of the penalties did. But, Lagway then just completely self-combust. So it's always something when it comes to Napier in this program. And at some point, we can point a finger at Lagway for a specific game. We can point at a kicker for a specific game. We can point at an offensive lineman for a holding in a specific game. But at some point, those guys, the fact that somebody always seems to misfire seems to be sort of the modus operandi for Billy Napier.
Will Miles, readandreaction.com. He's also part of the Gators Breakdown podcast, and no question. I mean, Billy's 20-21 during his tenure at Florida. That is just unacceptable at a program like the University of Florida. I'll tell you what else is unacceptable too, Will, and you and I talked about this in the offseason. We talked about how good this offensive line was going to be coming into the year, and that has just not materialized. I don't know what the deal is, but the offensive line, quite frankly, has been bad basically the entire season so far.
Yeah, I struggle with that a little bit because I'm not sure that they've been put in positions to succeed either. I mean, if you think about what offensive linemen like doing, they like blocking against the run. Pass blocking is more difficult, puts them on their heels. They have to deal with the fact that guys are pinning their ears back and coming after the quarterback. And one of the ways, if your offensive line is struggling to really sort of get things going, is to lean on the running game. And, you know, especially in the USF game, you could say that LSU has a defense where maybe Florida's offensive line maybe would have struggled to get things going. But in the USF game, I mean, Jaden Ball came out with like 6 rushes for like 55 yards in the first drive. And then we didn't see him again for like 3 or 4 drives in terms of getting like a carry or 2. And you're going to get stuffed from time to time. But one of the staples of this offense is setting up the runs so that you have the play action and are able to take some of those deep shots that Lagway has been so good at over the course, well, at least last year. And I mean, when's the last time they ran a play action fake Lagway rolled out and they had a guy coming right across his face where he was able to hit somebody who was wide open? There hadn't been any of that. So everything's been hard because the receivers haven't been open, because they haven't really, you know, because the defense hasn't had to respect the running game. And do we blame that on the offensive line? I mean, you could potentially against LSU. But against USF, Ball was averaging 6, 7, 8 yards a carry, and they sort of went away from it. And so to me, the play calling is an aspect that, you know, if you want your offensive line to establish itself, you just got to punt a couple of times. And maybe you don't convert a couple of first downs, but at least you've established that you're going to put the ball in Jaden Ball's hands, that you're going to challenge your offensive line. And hey, maybe you pop one, or maybe you go all the way down the field, just proving you're the superior opponent physically, and you're able to sort of impose your will on the game. They haven't even tried. And I think that's the disappointing part is, you know, you get one play blown up in the backfield and you go, well, we're not going to do that anymore. I mean, where are the pitches? Where are the stretch plays? Where are the things other than sort of the inside duo and the inside counter? Like, where's some ingenuity within this running game? Even last year, they would put Trey Wilson in the backfield. They'd have Montrell Johnson run as the lead blocker, and they would give Trey Wilson a pitch to the outside, get him out there for 8, 9 yards. Haven't seen any of that this year at all. So, you know, Florida's offense has been anemic, but it's also been predictable and really not very ingenuitive. And so all of that has sort of been a confluence, I think, to put the offensive line. They haven't been great, but at the same time, have they been put in a position to succeed? Have they been given help? Do they have tight ends chipping? Like all those different things that you would look for over the span of a game. And just what are the adjustments that Napier and company are making in order to help the guys who are struggling? And, you know, just switching out the right guard isn't necessarily going to fix that problem. And at some point, you know, you chose the starting right guard because the backup wasn't good enough, and you got to start helping some of those guys.
Final moments, Will Miles, readandreaction.com. The bright spots are Verno Brown. Certainly, you mentioned Jaden Ball. And then defensively, the Gators have absolutely played well enough to be 3-0 on defense. I believe they've only allowed, 2 offensive touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. I mean, they've played pretty well. I mean, LSU only had 10 first downs total on Saturday night. It's got to be very frustrating for the defense to have the offense not hold their end of the bargain. But clearly, if there is a bright spot, Will, it is the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the funny part is if you look at last year's game against LSU and this year's game against LSU, things are almost identical. The only difference is that LSU was able to convert way more third downs last year. Florida was able to get off the field this year at a much higher clip. But from a yards per play perspective, or even from an explosives, LSU had 5 explosives last year. They had 5 explosives this year. They held down Garrett Nussmeier last year. They held him down this year. When you look at the USF game, same general thing. They gave up a couple of explosives. Obviously, you had the spitting thing, and then they weren't able to hold on the last drive for South Florida. But overall, I mean, the corners have been locked down when they've needed to be. The safeties have been in the right position. They haven't given up a bunch of big plays. The defensive line, even without Caleb Banks, has been pretty stout against the run. Pass rush has been kind of iffy. They're not getting back there and creating a bunch of havoc in the backfield the way they have in the past, which is, or at least the way they did at the end of last year, which is why I think the turnovers have dried up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, look, they got turnovers against USF, and they got turnovers against LSU when Florida needed them to give the offense one more chance, and then the offense just wasn't able to do anything in either game. And you know, look, I mean, it doesn't matter how well your defense plays if you score 13 points a game. That's just sort of the reality.
Will, final question as we begin to wrap up. Miami on Saturday night. I mean, look, I think even the most diehard bleed orange and blue, goggle-wearing Gator fan doesn't have a lot of high expectations. You've made some good points. Ultimately, though, that's a really tough test on Saturday night, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect Florida to win this one. I do expect them to come out and play hard, and I expect them to play well from the standpoint. I mean, it's not going to be a rollover, right? These are guys they played against in high school. They know each other. It's going to be intense, and I expect it to be intense both between the fan bases and between the teams. And so that at least gives you some hope that if Lagway can turn things around, if he finds a switch, something like that, then Florida can at least be competitive in this one. But, you know, the reality is we're sort of playing out the string at this point. The reason that Napier got a vote of confidence last year was tied into Lagway. And now we've seen Lagway the first 3 games this year really, really struggle. And so, you know, there's not the magic recruit sitting on the sideline to justify not making a change at this point. And so, you know, I think most Gator fans are sort of reserved to saying, look, we've given this experiment 3 years and 3 games, and that's probably enough. But, you know, if it takes 3 years and 7 games or whatever it ends up being for Scott Strickland to make the decision, you know, it is what it is at this point. I don't think there's a whole lot of faith when it comes to the coaching staff, especially.
We'll tell the Gator fans here in Jacksonville about readandreaction.com and what they can look forward to heading over to the website as the Miami game approaches.
Yeah, so we do a pregame preview every week. So that's up on the website usually sometime on Wednesday. And then we do a postgame recap on Sundays, telling you really our goal is to tell you what we think is going to happen during the game, and then afterwards tell you why it happened with some film study and statistical breakdowns. So, you know, the goal isn't just to give you sort of the typical post-game summary. It's to tell you why did something happen specifically, whether that's looking at the film or looking at the numbers.
Will Miles, readandreaction.com. He's also a part of the Gators Breakdown podcast. Will, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time, and we'll talk again soon, pal.
All right, appreciate it.
Your play-by-play home of Bulls Bulldogs football is 1010XL.
The Bulldogs show their bite as they fight the Oak Leaf Knights. Friday at 7 on 1010 AM.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Join Jim Furyk and other legends of the PGA Tour for the Constellation Furyk and Friends, presented by Circle K, October 3rd through 5th at Timuquana Country Club. Catch the new community concert series on the 17th hole after play, featuring country artists Low Cash and Love and Theft. Public parking is free with complimentary tournament access for military, courtesy of ViStar Credit Union. Get tickets now for the Constellation Furyk and Friends, presented by Circle K, starting at just $25 at Ticketmaster.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Dan Hicken with a game changer. I've tested the field, and Checkmate Coatings is my new go-to for durable, jaw-dropping floor coating. Better play, better results.
I'm Brendan with Checkmate Coating. We coat it all: garages, pool decks, driveways, and patios. Be the envy of your neighbors.
Slam dunk your floors at checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coating, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
Hear the Florida Gators all season on 1010XL. Unlocked by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. The law firm of Farah and Farah and Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville. Go Gators!
Come by Lifetime Enclosures this Thursday from noon to 2 and see the XL Primetime Show live. Register to win tickets to the AEW Wrestling Dynamite title Tuesday live at Daly's Place October 7th. Enjoy the savings at Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring.
Hey, David again here with Royal Pet Services. It's that time of year when rodents start making their way into our homes. Layson, tell them what they need to get in.
A quarter-size hole.
That's right. That's all they need. Hey, tell them where to go for a free attic and exterior inspection.
Visit RoyalPetServices.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Texans, Sunday at 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. Big game for both teams, maybe a desperate situation for both teams, particularly Houston looking to avoid an 0-3 start. And before we even get there on Sunday, what a night of high school football we will have here in Northeast Florida on Friday evening. Let's talk about all of it with my buddy Justin Barney of Channel 4, always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Justin, how we doing, man?
Not too bad, Hack. Thanks for having me. A lot of interchangeable parts right now in terms of football and things we've got going on. It's always good to chat with you.
Yeah, appreciate the time as always. All right, bad loss for the Jaguars on Sunday. Look, I think people have had a couple of days now to maybe get it out of their system. All eyes begin pointing towards Houston, and it's a Texan team coming in that also suffered a devastating loss, and they're 0-2, and maybe a little desperation for the Texans on Sunday here in Jacksonville, Justin.
Yeah, it's the last time the Texans played here was a little bit of a wild situation with the hit on Trevor, and ultimately leading to his season ending prematurely. But always something on the line when these two teams meet. I think the Azeez Al-Shahir return to Jacksonville will be a big one, but I think an even bigger one for Jacksonville and fans is, can they shake off what happened in Cincinnati last week? And you feel like Jacksonville should really be 2-0 with a 2-game lead on their rival Texans in the AFC South, but it's not the case. They really let one slip away. You got to fix those self-inflicted mistakes, which continue to trip up Jacksonville.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Jacksonville probably feels like they should be 2-0, and quite frankly, Houston has lost 2 games by a combined 6 points, including losing to Tampa on Monday night there in the final 10 seconds. As far as the Jaguars go, the Brian Thomas Jr. situation from last Sunday in Cincinnati, what did you make of that whole thing?
He didn't look like he was involved, and I don't know if that was injury related. I don't know if it was something mental. But he just, to me, I mean, going back to even last year and as a rookie, he looked kind of disinterested in the early portion of camp. But once the games got there, he turned it on, and he was a different player. This year in camp, I thought he looked a little bit off as well. He didn't look like the player we saw last year, but you were hoping once the game started, he would kind of turn the switch on and get back in gear to be the BTJ we saw last year. And he has not done it. He looked bad in camp to me. He came down hard on a couple plays. You wonder if those resulted in injuries, the plays there in camp. A couple of them come to mind where he was in team drills and came down hard and walked off with the trainers and came back later. And then another one where he went up high for a catch and then came down really hard on his back and was very, very ginger to get up. So I'm wondering if, something happened in camp that just wasn't reported or that he's kind of concealed that have really affected his play this year, because he has not looked the same, given up on plays too early, just a little bit of a lackadaisical start. And you wonder if it's anything mental or even more importantly, anything physical.
Justin Barney of Channel 4. Yeah, it almost looked like he was avoiding contact at times last week in Cincinnati, which is certainly troublesome. As far as Travis Hunter goes, I believe he played 83 snaps. I thought that pass interference was bologna sausage. That is the BS term I can use on this program. I thought that was a ridiculous call by the refs. But outside of that, I thought Travis Hunter, from a defensive back point of view, had a decent day.
Yeah, offense has still kind of been slow to develop. I think he had 3 catches, 22 yards, not really a factor on offense. He played a lot more defense with Jarrian being banged up early, and he was in the game late. And you go to you try to take advantage of the rookie if you're Cincinnati, and they did. But I agree with you. I think that was a BS call on that pass interference. I thought that was a good play by Travis, and people are going to keep challenging him. I know I saw in the lead up to the season that that teams and players were going to want a piece of Travis and they were going to go after him. And certainly they did in that game. But I did think that was a little bit of a ticky-tack call. I thought that was a better play by Travis than anything else. But I think it's been a slower start for him. But we did get to see more of him on defense on Sunday. And I think I was more impressed with him defensively than offense.
The interesting thing about Sunday when Houston comes in, it's basically a new coaching staff, a couple of holdovers, but largely a new staff. Like half the roster wasn't even here last year when Azeez Al-Shaair did what he did to Trevor Lawrence. But the guys that were here, particularly on the offense, the Anton Harrisons, Ezra Clevelands, Walker Littles, Britton Strange, ETN, obviously Trevor himself. How much do they need to keep their emotions in check on Sunday?
Yeah, I think that's just natural to have that little bit of extra fire in your belly, and it would be cool to see those guys bury the hatchet and realize that, hey, this is a new year. That play was it's in the past. Yes, it was dirty. Yes, Azeez paid the price for that. But I think it would be cool if he did reach out or did something on Sunday to say, hey, let's bury the hatchet. Let's put this behind us. We're professionals. But yeah, I think as players this year, you've turned the page, and I'm sure Liam Cohen and staff are going to remind all the players this week to keep those emotions in check. Don't do anything stupid that's going to cost your team 15 yards or possibly an ejection. Trying to relive that play or that moment from that play. So I think it'd be great if those guys could bury the hatchet and move on.
And the Jaguars have a real opportunity not only to win a division game, but have an opportunity to put the Texans at 0-3. And I don't know what percentages say, but I would have to think teams that start 0-3, you can recover from that, but it's going to be an uphill battle. Jacksonville's got a real chance to do something on Sunday.
Yeah, that more than anything to me is the story going in, and then you kind of make it a little bit of a look at more of the Colts at that point when the Texans are 0-3. So I think that more than anything is a chance for Jacksonville to kind of say, hey, C.J. Stroud and company, you're not better than us this year. And I mean, beating them at home, put them in an 0-3 hole. I mean, we've been on Jacksonville fans and media have been on the other side of that, where you're 0-3 and you feel like things are falling away pretty quickly. So what a chance that would be if Jacksonville could do that same thing to Houston this year and really get back right in that AFC South race and put Cincinnati in the rear view behind them. And I think they have a chance to do that. And I think ultimately they will do that on Sunday.
Justin Barney of Channel 4. Before we get to Sunday, we, of course, have the Friday Night Lights here in Northeast Florida on Friday evening. You can check out Justin and myself with Friday Night Lights on 4+ that streams on the 1010XL and the Channel 4 social media platforms on Friday beginning at 7 o'clock. And Justin, there are 3 really interesting games, really more than that, but 3 I want to highlight. First, beginning with Mandarin and IMG. Kudos to Mandarin for playing this game. Certainly it will be a difficult challenge, but Mandarin, one of the best in Jacksonville, playing IMG. What a test for the Mustangs.
Yeah, that's a team you don't want to see too often, and they played IMG last year and came back with a big loss. I think this is a better team that Mandarin has than they had last year at this point in the schedule. Last year, Mandarin was extremely banged up, starting a quarterback who was just about 3 games into his starting tenure after the injury to Tramel Jones. So I think Mandarin's a little bit better health-wise this year and experience-wise this year. But again, when you're dealing with IMG, you're not dealing with a typical program. I don't think there's any question that IMG is going to win that game. I just think if you're Mandarin, you want to come out of that healthy and with a little bit more experience to kind of propel you. I mean, Mandarin is in a difficult region in football, and this game can only go to help them. They're in there with Oak Leaf in the same district. They're in the same region as Nice. So you want to come out of this game healthy. You want to come out of this game with some good and valuable experience. Man, I'd love to see a Mandarin Reigns or a game like that instead of a Mandarin IMG game. Wish they would get that Mustangs Vikings game back on the schedule. No reason that 2 of the best in Florida right here in the Gateway Conference shouldn't get together and square off.
You mentioned Oakleaf. They have a great opportunity on Friday night. They welcome the Bowles Bulldogs out to Clay County. Christopher Foy's done a great job in year 3 out at Oakleaf. What are your thoughts on Bowles and Oakleaf Friday night?
Yeah, that was a wild one last year. That happens to be our game of the week this year, Hacker. So you and I are gonna have a chance to watch a little bit of that on Friday night. But that game was a wild back and forth game at Bowles last year. Bowles eventually won that game in a high scoring game. I think it's going to be a lot of more of the same. Bowles coming off a 36-0 win over Bishop Kenny last week. But when you're talking about a team like an Oakleaf, I think they're more comparable to St. Augustine. And of course, St. Augustine beat Bowles this year 40-35. So I think we're going to see a game more like that, a back and forth game. And Oakleaf's defense has been really, really good this season. So I'm curious to see if they could slow down Xander Edwards in that powerful rushing attack of Bowles. Bowles with the best offensive line in the area too, opening holes for Xander, who's had 1,000 yards already. So it'll be a test of defenses in this game and kind of see who bends the least.
Final moments, Justin Barney of Channel 4. And then, Justin, to me, the game of the night, certainly the game of the night in St. Johns County, is Nice and St. Augustine. You remember the days of Tim Tebow's Nice taking on Brandon James and St. Augustine, 20-plus years ago. Nice has been fantastic. St. Augustine has been fantastic. What a game that should be on Friday.
Yeah, really, really good match. I've covered I don't know how many of those Nice-St. Augustine games in the past when I worked in St. Augustine, and in every one of them, it felt like you could cut the tension with a knife during Joey Wiles and Craig Howard's times when they were in charge of those programs. And I think it'll be another tense one down there in St. Johns County on Friday night, both undefeated teams. And there's something about St. Augustine and Nice that always just feels like it's one of these back and forth games. And St. Augustine had Nice on the ropes last year, and Nice roared back and won that game in overtime on a stop 2-point conversion. So you feel like it's going to come down to maybe not overtime again, but to the very last point of the game. And St. Augustine struggled last week against Riverside, needed really to kind of emerge in the fourth quarter to win that game. So a little bit curious on that because St. Augustine's offense can score. Brenton James has been one of the best stories in the area this year. Quarterback at St. Augustine, Julio Santiago and Samori Enwigo didn't play last week for St. Augustine. So if they're back this week, I think that skews the offense in favor of St. Augustine. But defense, you got to worry about that defense. If Riverside's putting up 41 on you and Nice with a little bit better offense than that, I wonder if we're going to see kind of a track meet in this game this week. At least that's what it looks like on paper with both of these offenses.
Justin Barney of Channel 4. Justin, I know you and I will get together Friday night lights on 4+ and 1010XL beginning at 7 o'clock, streaming on the 1010XL and the Channel 4 social media platforms as games are going on in real time. You mentioned the Channel 4 game of the week will be Bowles and Oakleaf. Also, I know you guys will have a lot of Jaguar coverage coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. We have our Teal Gate down at the Slab on Sunday morning. Jamal, Alessandra, and myself will be down there with our crew from Channel 4, and we're out there from, we get out there about 8:30 in the morning, but our show is from 11 to 12. Come out and hang out with us, play some games, and we're on TV from 11 to 12, get you ready for kickoff. So that is always fun. Hopefully be cheering on a Jaguars win on Sunday.
Justin Barney of Channel 4. Justin, thank you for the time. I'll see you Friday night, man.
Take care, Hack. Thanks for having me.
And thank you to Justin Barney of Channel 4 for joining me tonight here on Hacker After Dark, talking Jaguars and talking a little high school ball as well. Of course, every Friday night at 7 o'clock. Friday Night Lights on 4+. Myself and Justin Barney can be seen on the social media platforms for both 1010XL and Channel 4 in real time as high school games are going on all over Northeast Florida. So always enjoy talking high school ball with Justin. And, of course, the Jaguars and the Texans. Certainly discuss that with him as well. A huge game for the Jaguars. I was down in the locker room earlier today. You know, you just get the sense, you get the vibe in there that they know the importance of this game and they know what it would do to Houston. Again, only 4 teams dating back to 1990 have made the playoffs starting 0-3. And the Texans would be 0-3 if Jacksonville gets it done on Sunday. Ironically enough, one of those 4 teams was the Texans back in 2018. But a golden opportunity at home for Jacksonville on Sunday when they take on Houston. So we spent a ton of time on that. Spent some time on the Florida Gators and the Miami Hurricanes as well as what a football weekend it will be here in Northeast Florida. Well, that will just about do it, man. We have been incredibly busy on a Wednesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. And we have a ton of people to thank. Again, thank you to Justin Barney of Channel 4. Thank you to Will Miles, readandreaction.com. He's also part of the Gators Breakdown podcast. Always enjoy talking Gator football, analytics, and much more with Will Miles of readandreaction.com. My buddy Leon Searcy joined us in hour number one, the former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jaguars. You get him every day on Prime Time. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. And, of course, on Sunday, you will get Leon Searcy, myself, and the coach Gerald Ingram for the fifth quarter here on 1010XL, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Texans go final. And thank you to Jordan Dajani of CBSSports.com, as what a Sunday it'll be in the AFC South. Not only Jacksonville and Houston, but the first place Indianapolis Colts travel to Tennessee. So all four AFC South teams going at it in two different games. And, of course, we were in the Jaguar locker room earlier today. I went one-on-one with linebacker Devin Lloyd and defensive back Jarrian Jones. And we certainly appreciate both of those guys taking time out for us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Now, we will be back tomorrow night on a Thursday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the Hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Wednesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD